Welcome back to my channel, guys. Tonight I want to talk more about satisfaction and how that is actually the indicator of you going in the right direction. Validation from other people is so intoxicating, and depending on the type of childhood that we had, is a drug, and we constantly are looking out for it. But unfortunately, that same drug will keep us from living the life that we were supposed to live. And unless you begin to disassociate yourself from the need to feel validated externally, you will live a lackluster life. Try slowly, or you're going to be close to your desires, but not be able to achieve the ones that you are truly wanting to do or get. In order to How can you start disassociating yourself from external validation? Once you realize and once you start to take accountability for the life that you have currently, once you realize that actually you have put yourself in the waiting room and no one else is responsible for the situations that you've endured, when you realize that, then taking external validation starts to become disgusting because you realize how that is a cop-out for yourself. And I personally think if you haven't spent enough time by yourself, enough time to even walk with yourself, take a walk with yourself, take yourself to a coffee shop, to a nice restaurant, whatever it may be, if you're not able to do that, I don't know how you can release yourself from the shackles of validation because you haven't sat with yourself enough to listen to yourself. Can you even recognize your own internal voice? There was a point in my life, not too long ago actually, a couple years ago, where I couldn't even hear my own internal voice. And when it came back around, I didn't recognize it. When you can't even recognize your internal voice, and rebuilding that relationship with yourself takes time. But the one shortcut to all of this, like I said before, is being accountable to where you are at in life. It's you. Even if you've endured something terrible, you still have control over the narrative, so it will always be you. And that story will dictate how you move in the world and what is to come. You will be miserable if you start something and stop it, all because you're not seeing the expected numbers. And also, I want to preface on something. People lie in the name of manifestation. People lie in the name of social media because maybe they're trying to manifest, but it's also scamming. There's a lot of scamming we're seeing on social media that creates the illusion that people are getting it sooner. In reality, we don't know their truth. And also, I want you to be so freaking invested in your own movie, in your own life, that even if that person gets the $1 million first or gets the brand deal first, whatever it may be, whatever goal you may have for yourself, think of it as another movie and think of your life as your favorite movie. Yeah, the story is interesting, but why would I be so invested in their movie when I have not only witnessing, I have creative control over this beautiful, complicated, rich story that is unfolding right now for yourself. Be unwavering in alignment. The more I stay in alignment in life, the more I make sure my words, my actions, and all areas of my life are aligned to where I want it to go, I realize the amount of at the same time that I need to do, because it takes work to wake up in the morning a certain way, it takes work to go back to sleep in a certain way, it takes work to clear my mind, to do all this energetic work. And what's interesting is allowing the wrong person to come in will dilute it and set you back so quickly that you have to realize you cannot afford to do that. There's no way. If there are, I started thinking about something else as I was saying it. If you're facing resistance in something not coming in, whether it be a man or a job, the reason is there's an easier way that you are not seeing. And I think this is so important. When I look back at things in hindsight, when I was working towards a certain goal or wanting a certain someone in my life, whether it be anything, I would want it so bad and it would not happen. Aside from the law of detachment, we all know about that. I realized that the universe wants softness. The universe loves to bring things to us in a soft, comfortable, beautiful, gorgeous way, but we won't allow it. And when I think back to those moments, it was me refusing to allow these things to come because I was so drawn to the resistance of it. I would go towards things that had heavy resistance, and I would just keep going and going at it. And the reason it didn't work was because there was probably other things in my path with less resistance that I was not willing to look at because my eyes were so set on something else. So when you are quantum leaping and creating a new life, it is very important to understand resistance and how it works, how it plays in your life. Knowing when to go against or with gravity is so important. There's this book I really love that speaks about resistance in the art form. Name is Steve something, you can look it up. But it talks about one of my favorite books ever. I need to rebuy it, and because I always keep it in my bag and I like to read it, but it really helped me with artistic blocks in terms of creating stuff, creating content or whatever it may be, because I realized that first of all, momentum is my best friend and it's also my gift. I can start something and I can go at it forever if I want to, and it's very hard to come by, but momentum compounds. I don't think I honestly understood how momentum has a tendency to compound over time. So when you are working on something, what you're not seeing is how it's compounding. You're just looking at these numbers, these little charts perhaps, that you're not meeting these lines, and you're comparing constantly with other people who are. Nothing wrong with strategically changing the way you do things, but it's completely different. That will not determine if you're gonna quit or start something. Like I said, the best indicator that I have found for myself, whether I continue on a path or stop or refocus my energy, is how satisfied I feel after doing it. Of course, the satisfaction may waver when thousands of people are supporting me versus no one is supporting me, but I even get the people involved before the world is even involved. After I create this piece, how am I feeling? You know, with the work I'm doing now, whether it's reciprocated or not, I feel stunning when I do it. That's my indicator. So you have to find something internally and emotionally. The best indicator, like I said, is satisfaction. How satisfied do you feel after? And another one would be, is your energy leaking, or are you standing in your power? After you do it, if the energy feels like it's going 10 million different directions, there's probably something to look at there. But if you feel like you're in power, almost like you've done mirror work, then that is the correct direction that you need to be in. So this is the secret to quantum leaping, guys. This is the secret. The secret is we do not look for evidence outside. The evidence is within, and that changes everything.